Welcome to Module 3, Engage Your Volunteers and Funders. Congratulations on asset mapping your community. As your next step, this video will help you understand the importance of keeping people engaged, strategies for engaging different people, and how to implement those strategies. Successful school gardens focus on high engagement. If people don't feel engaged, they won't continue to show up for important planning events and work days.
To keep volunteers engaged and to keep coming back is one of our struggles.
One of the things that's most difficult about the garden has been keeping volunteers engaged and making them feel like they are a necessary part of the garden, which they are.
Because in the sustaining of it, if it's only one person or one parent or one teacher, then it really loses its benefit. It also just becomes too much work.
It's a little daunting as a volunteer if you don't have a garden and have garden experience. You don't want to just walk into someone's garden and risk, ruining something in there. So a lot of times what we'll see from some gardens is they say, yeah, we always need help. Well, people don't know how to help you if you aren't specific in what you need.
For volunteers to be happy and keep coming back into our volunteer programs and our community garden tours and things, our consistency, making sure that the time is the same every week, and that there's a plan set in stone.
Keeping our volunteers engaged, I feel that we give them ownership as well. We look for their ideas, we look for their support, just continually having them involved in the whole process. I think that they feel connected and they feel a part of it.
Engaged volunteers and funders will continue to be involved. They will feel ownership in the school garden and provide ongoing support. That means consistently showing up for planning activities, work days, as well as regularly providing other types of support, including funding. So, if you need engagement, what types of strategies work best? To find the answer, we interviewed dozens of school garden coordinators, volunteers, and organizations that support school gardens. And it turns out there was a strong consensus about what things volunteers and funders are looking for that will keep them coming back again and again.
The major way we see for schools to keep their volunteers coming back is that they have a plan. Volunteers know when they're needed, what they need to do, and they have a set schedule of when people will be in the garden.
Having regular family nights or meetings with a garden crew or just the community in general is going to be very helpful, sustaining awareness about the garden, but also interest too.
Parents start to know and can trust that this is happening. If I want to be involved, I can go on this particular night and I can plan that into my calendar.
The majority of our volunteers at this moment are ELL families, and it's just communication and keeping them involved and making sure I call them and just saying, hey, don't forget, garden club.
Each year it's gotten a little bit bigger, and they've gotten the families involved. They have a family night every Thursday, and the parents and kids come up and help work in the garden, planting, weeding.
Our number one way of communicating our information to the community at large right now is via Facebook and Twitter, and says, hey, remember Thursday at 4 o'clock, we're in the garden. This week we're going to be focusing on tomatoes or whatever it may be.
So one of the processes we use is a facilitation method called strategic doing. And it's really simple and straightforward, but the goal is that every time you meet, everyone walks away with an activity or something that they're going to bring to the table. It may be something as simple as contact 5 parents to see what their interest level is in the garden, or contact someone that's going to help with the design, or talk to your students about this project.
Having a list of things that need to get done, making them feel like this is organized, this is an organized effort.
Having a specific ask. If you're asking someone, we need you to come and weed the garden for 1 hour, this is it. Making it very specific.
That still gives them a drive to do that one thing or that 5 things really, really well. And if they can't do it, they can find someone else who can.
It takes somebody's time to really engage those volunteers and keep them engaged, and whether that is a teacher or whether that's another volunteer, I've seen it work different ways.
One of the great things about the school garden planning guides that go with all of the videos is that they can double as a binder, yes. You can also use those worksheets and they can double as a grant application. There are a lot of great organizations out there offering school garden grants. And this just basically is a ready-made grant application to turn in.
Once you get it started and get it going, you don't always need a lot of money, but if you're wanting to add some extras into your garden and you need maybe, benches, or you want some trellises, or, even just new seeds and plants each year.
Kind of back to that asset mapping, going around your community and seeing who are the businesses, who are the stores, who are the places in your community that can help. Is there a local nonprofit that can provide something?
The other opportunities are to have businesses or nonprofit organizations or people who are really involved in community impact to be at that table during the strategic planning process, because they can also leverage funds from their own businesses.
Outside funders want to know how your garden's doing and if you're keeping track. How many volunteers do we have? How many hours were spent in the garden? So that you can really show that this is something that's not only valuable to us, but you can, get the numbers out there.
This past year we worked to create a large-scale master garden plan. And so as we sought out funding, we now can be more strategic in, one, we've got a butterfly garden. That came about through the use of a butterfly grant. But now we can now seek out additional butterfly grants that are out there.
Thinking outside the box and about being creative and how you can use the resources in your community instead of just always applying for grant after grant, because that does get tiring. And thinking beyond just monetary terms, who can donate used pallets that we can build compost bins out of, who can donate paint sticks that we can mark our plants with.
When we first started the raised beds, we had a couple fundraisers. We did rain barrel builds and things like that.
We found, again, through having shared ownership in the project, is that people have their own skills to bring to the table, and some people would rather build the shelter for the garden, whereas other people want to go out and fundraise with their organizations.
Volunteers and funders are looking for many of the same things: a clear plan, a list of projects that need completed, a consistent meeting schedule, assigned roles, measured success, and regular communication. Now that you know these strategies are important for engagement, how do you implement them? A Garden for Every School has tools to help you get and keep volunteers and funders engaged, including a focus on local businesses for ongoing funding. This video has its own planning guide, important roles to assign your team, and strategies for keeping people engaged. Video Training Module 3 helps in the process of getting and keeping volunteers and funders engaged. Let's get started. Download Planning Guide number 3 for this video, and fill out each section as a team. Assign 3 important roles to your team, and create an organized school garden binder to hold these planning guides for future reference.